Podcast starts at 19 seconds.
Welcome to a new episode of Fit the Description, a Black men's podcast, where various Black men come together to talk about life, society, entertainment, culture, news, and whatever else we want to talk about from various Black men's perspectives. I'm your host, G, and today we got Keys.
Yo.
And others will join in at a later time throughout the podcast. So, with that being said, just want to let y'all know, with the changes that happened to Patreon, and I'm hoping it will happen in January. But for all that stuff that we talked about the cut content and people want to bring it out, well, we're finally going to do it. We're finally going to bring out the cut content on our Patreon. Now, mind you, yes, there is going to be a fee. It's going to be small. You know, it will be about $5. But if you pay $5, you'll get access to the actual podcast, uncensored, uncut, of things we cut out of past episodes. Now, the thing that we're talking about is how we want to release them, but that will be coming very soon, hopefully next year. The goal is to have them start coming out in January because we're gone in January. So to hold y'all over, we may release it in January, but I'm still trying to get things figured out, and I'm still trying to figure out how we want to release it. But it is now currently being worked on, and hopefully by January, we will start releasing the uncut, the uncensored, the stuff that we basically cannot release on YouTube, or that's a little too risky to be on the internet without it being checked. It will be on the Patreon. So, yeah, if you guys want to check that out, make sure to go to the Patreon, and you'll get exclusive episodes that were cut out from the actual podcast. So, beyond that, we are also, like I said before, we are also on Spotify. We also actually joined a new app called Wisdom. And just so you know what that app is, it's basically, I'm still trying to figure it out, but it seems like it's a talk app. But what I actually do on that app is I basically go out and ask a bunch of people random questions and they answer it. So if you just want to hear, because people send us questions, we go out, we find random people, they answer it, and it's just right there on the Wisdom app. So if you want to check it out, go to our page, OPN on Wisdom, and you can hear some of the responses to people have for various different questions. Now, again, I'm still kind of trying to figure that app out, but it seems like it's pretty cool, pretty fun. And I do plan on doing a live discussion there soon, just to kind of tell y'all who we are. So because we need one of those, but make sure to check that out. But beyond that, we're on various different podcast platforms. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, what else? Amazon, and just various others. Anchor is a big one, which is affiliated with Spotify. But, you know, check all those out. The links will all be down below. And before we get started with the podcast, make sure to check out the Clips channels too. I worked hard on that channel. I love that channel. And I understand that these podcasts can be pretty long. So if you want a condensed down version of the podcast, go ahead and go to the Clips channel and you'll get little cut out parts of the entire podcast. But all the links on there will be down below too. So make sure to check that out. And beyond this super long opening that I just did, we're going to go ahead and get started with the podcast. Okay, that was one of the longest openings I've ever done for this podcast, just so you know. Are you there with me?
I'm here.
Okay. Pretty quiet, man. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, you nervous, huh?
Yeah, man.
You should be. I'll explain. Nah, I got you, man.
Fair enough. But anyway, since you're here, I actually have a topic specifically I want to ask you about, since you're like out of all of us, like probably the biggest artist, which, by the way, just so you know, and I tried to hit you up about it, we definitely put those pictures in the last podcast, by the way.
Yeah, I saw it.
I tried to tell you, didn't pick up the phone. So it is what it is. But I guess my first question is, what do you feel about the AI art that's coming up?
The AI art?
Yeah, you never heard of it?
No, no. Enlighten me.
All right, hold on. So let me bring up a story. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick.
All right, what are you showing me, man?
All right. So art made by AI wins fine arts competition.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that already.
Mm-hmm. AI generated artwork won a recent art competition in the U.S., sparking controversy and fury among artists. So basically, by now there are many efficient AI programs that allow people to create original, realistic images and art from the text description, Dolly to Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. That's a new one I didn't hear about. Some are some of the most notable such AI programs. To generate a realistic image using these programs, all one needs to do is enter a text description of what he or she would like to see.
Oh, they got something like that on Clip Studio. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and wait for the AI to create it. The winning artwork submitted by Jason Allen was created using the Midjourney. I said Midjourney, the Midjourney program, which offers 25 free uses before requiring subscription. In combination with the AI Gigapixel, the result came in first at the competition and won a 300 cash prize. So this is one. The other one that's being a complaint is what is that? Oh, what is that? What's that called?
Dot MPEG.
No. Oh, what's that one? What is that one website called? Oh, what's that called? I used to use it all the time. It's a big artist website.
DeviantArt.
Yes, thank you.
All you had to do was ask.
Yeah. Demon Art upset artists. Stupid phone. Somebody hit me. Okay. Deviant Art upsets artists with this new AI art generator, Dream Up. Okay. So basically, from my understanding, from because I can't find the actual article, but I read it, but I can't find the actual article. The problem with the new Deviant Art generator that basically what I read was basically the way it works, from my understanding, was it takes like on that website it takes I guess a bunch of artists like drawings and put them all together to make a new one. So the AI uses like goes to the entire website to look at artists and it generates its own art piece basically.
Yeah, that's not
And
cool.
yeah, so yeah, a lot of artists was pretty mad about that too. So with the demon, so with the AI situation, I want to know what you think about it and what your views are, especially since you're like the biggest artist in here and your opinion.
I um I never liked stuff like this. Uh, I am a big um let's see, history lesson was for me. Being a graphic designer, and I've been through a lot of different stages over the years. And one of those stages where is the era of stuff like Vista Print. We know the company, we see it, and Vista Print has templates. With these templates, you could pick one and type your information on. Now, okay, it's cheap, affordable, whatever the case may be, which is cool. But the problem is it devalues the designer. It devalues the humans. And I actually can't stand stuff like this. Same thing with Amazon and their stores with no people in it. You know, they have stores where you don't a person doesn't need to be in there, that you literally just pick up items and when you walk out it charges your card. I hate stuff like this with a passion. I dislike a world that I see where the world is coming to. I went into Home Depot and there was not one person at the register. It was all self checkout. As I was walking through the store, I probably only saw one employee. Now maybe there was more, but I only saw one. That's not okay. Like especially when in an economy with recession and inflation, this is not good because now you're gonna raise crime rate. Now you're gonna raise homelessness because you don't have they haven't learned from the previous ventures of sending everything to China. Like it's like they're just history is just repeating itself.
I think the
You
argument
know,
you're making, honestly, is kind of broader than what the issue is.
I know I'm sorry, but I'm really passionate about automated stuff. I think that takes away from the artist. I feel like the fact that an AI can win an art competition is not okay. It's just not okay. That's just how I feel
Yeah.
about it. You
Um.
know. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
No. I wanted to hear more
All
about it.
right, so yeah, it devalues artists because mostly because of human nature. Because somebody's gonna look at that and be like, okay, cool. I'll just I'll work on it this way. Or you'll find somebody that say, oh, I'll charge you $10 and do a whole art piece for you, and they go on this computer generated app and do this art piece. You have it fill it out and send it to the customer, and the customer is excited, and then he just basically devalues artists, the artists that sit up and take their time and energy and thought process into creating art from the heart. Same thing. Now, as for deviant art, it feels kind of screwy because is there permission involved? Like, are you're gonna just be doing that with my art and not asking my permission first to create art from my art? That's that's kind of crazy. Once again, you're trying to exit out the artist. Um, and that seems to be the name of the game is to have people subscribe, have people relying on automated machines, and we're living in an AI world already, and it's just not as broad as we used to see in movies, but we're living in an AI world. You call a place and you know you have to listen to a robot before you could even attempt to talk to a human, you know.
Yeah, no,
But
I agree. But first off, we got a new entry to the podcast. What's up, man? He's been gone for a while. I don't know if he's here yet because his mute. I said his mute. His mic's on mute. What's up, Norris?
What's up,
oh
man?
snap. What up, man?
That's it.
Man, we haven't seen you in a while, man. How you been, man? Like, why don't you give people a little update, man? It's been a cool minute since you've been on the podcast.
Busy working like everybody else, trying to make sure life is sustainable.
I I feel him knocking.
Yep. So right now what we're talking about, we're basically talking about the story of like AI. I don't know if you heard, but did you hear about the dude who basically used AI to create a picture and won an art contest?
No.
All right. So we already read it, so I'll just give you the short form. Basically what happened, a dude used AI generated program to generate an art piece and basically won a competition, and a lot of artists are mad about it. Then the other story that I brought up from memory, from what I've heard, basically the problem with DeviantArt, they're also doing a generated AI program, but the issue was with that, from what I remember, is basically what it does. It takes a bunch of different. It basically takes all the art, like you type it in what you want, then it looks through all the people's arts on the website, and it generates a custom art. Basically, the what we were talking about is how do you feel about it? What do you think about it? Shibidi was like, it kind of devalues art. He doesn't really like it, so I'll put it on you. Of what do you think about AI art and art being basically created by a computer?
Um, it's a cheat on a cheat, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Can you break that down?
There's already people with biases, and you have to think a person that's judging has biases. They have preferences and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, you have a computer that's just taking in a bunch of information from the world and feeding it to these panel of judges and knowing how to properly do it, because guess what? It knows the commonalities that we all like. So it's just a rigged game. Like, the fact that this is even a story, low key, I'm going, where did it come from? Because, like, okay, let me start off this way. First off, what kind of competition was it? Was it an emerging art competition, or like, because there's different types and different levels for certain stuff. And the higher up that you are, you already have to have a name. So how did that, think about that for a second. How did this AI surpass in other realms if it already made it up this far? I'm not sure how far up the ladder is going.
Yeah. So basically, it looks like it's from it was at a Colorado State Fair.
Okay.
So, and basically, like the post said, the digital art category at a fine art competition has people talking. At the Colorado State Fair, we think this brings up a great conversation with advancing technology and a discussion of AI and art. Art helps the fair evolve from year to year. So,
Well, if that's the case, they just got to do it like they do everything else. Make it its own lane.
yeah, I think I agree with
I don't like it at all. I am not a fan. I'm not a fan. What I stemmed on is just where technology is heading in general, because I feel like it's a bigger issue outside of art, which is that the the further we get in technology, the worse they're put. It's kind of like Wally, yo. Like they're it's gonna affect a lot of people, a lot of people that could potentially be good Samaritans. I feel like the more automated stuff that they create, so far as with AI and different things, the more poverty they're going to achieve, and the more crime they're going to achieve, because they're not going to be a lot of employment opportunities.
Well, I hear what you're saying in certain points, but in my opinion, if we give AI its own lane, and AI, specifically just AI work, it creates this separation that I'm not saying is good or bad. What I'm saying is, if you break down definitions of variations of what people think of art and its definition, blah, 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 there's words thrown around of culture, this, that, and the third. But if you really think about it, what if we're separating the machine, the mechanism out that other people are using, first of all, and then we start thinking about separating it out as well of this, the machine itself, as well as the people and or person that's working it.
Mm.
The only reason I go to this place and realm is I go, well, I see how they always try to throw that shit back on somebody talking about this or that, and they try to switch up the words and stuff like that. But what if we finally get this machine to exactly where we want it to be? It's doing what it does. It's perfection. Our perfection and their perfection is totally different. So now we can start a whole different conversation about certain things. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sitting there saying I'm with it to the point I want them to be. They already using it in any dang way. That's first and foremost the problem. Think about that. It didn't just, they planned for this to happen, to get into the art exhibition. Let's try this. They're trying it in all kinds of different forms and formats. Okay, now we need to make this thing its own lane. Whatever it starts to grow into, we got to start questioning the power effects of that. And it can be reverse engineered into our things of what you were talking about for poverty and stuff like that, for what we use as our laws, like government. I'm going, well, if certain things are through the computer and a lot of things, which is too many things and private information and blah, 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 is that way, this might be a way to showcase that.
Okay, so I guess I'll go ahead and say this, and I'm sure you're wondering, why am I pulling up the Clips channel? Full transparency, I actually do use AI generated art to make some of the photos that you see on the Clips channels, well, the icons that you see on the Clips channel. I'm not even gonna lie. So I'm in a different lane. And so I have a definitely different experiences. So I'm just, I mean, I know y'all can't see on the audio platform that you can't see it, but the ones that are watching this on YouTube, and I think Spotify can see it right now. So like the last clip that came out, that was actually AI generated. The ones where it says I got the COVID, that was AI generated. Well, 90% of it. What percentage to be to say the N word, that was AI generated. What else is there? I believe in the support system, that was AI generated. And let me find one more. Root was also AI generated. So I have there's a lot of images on the Clips channel. If you ever check it out, they are specifically AI generated. And the reason why I do it that way is honestly is because I don't have the time, and the problem is that sometimes I go out and I look for specific pictures. Like there's certain things I want to say, and there's certain things I needed to do. And when I go on the internet, and mind you, when I do take the pictures off, I try to change it. So so if you want the official ones, you got to go to it. But I try to change it. I try not to get the whole entire thing because I don't want to kind of mess with people's art, whatever, or photos. But I normally try to find certain pictures that kind of explain what we're trying to say or what the podcast is. And sometimes some of those photos or some of the things I'm looking for are just not out there. So, especially because there may be also copyright issues, it gives me an ability to just take fake AI art, but I basically do that because I just don't have the time, and sometimes I need a picture to do something specific, and they're nowhere on the internet. Now, with me using it, I will say this: if you look at those photos if you look at those photos very closely, it's not perfect. Like if you want to show, like you can look at the faces. Sometimes, well, you can't see the faces because I put things over the faces. But if you look at the fingers, if you look at the clothes, you can tell the arms kind of off, the fingers kind of off. So it's not a perfect thing, but it does. Basically, because I only have so much time, it helps me quicker create things or say what I want to say without having to look for it or even having to do it myself. So I come from a different perspective. Now, with that being said, do I think as a whole it's a good thing? I agree more with Norris that they need to make it its own category, because I do think that it does take away from artists and artistry. And I think it could actually, in the long run, hurt jobs, especially if the AI gets really good. And I would say that's a very scary part because, hey, I'm a guy who's been wanting to create a comic my entire life. Now, I hate to say it, that's a dude who's not really the best artist. Well, I should say the best drawer. I like to call myself a designer, not an artist, because I'm not great at drawing. But now this could give me a capability as somebody who's always wanted to create a comic, so I could go ahead and type out what I want, how I want it to be, and it just generates it itself. Or even if it gets really good enough, improves what I draw and makes it just ridiculously great. But with that being said, what is the catch-22 with that? Well, a lot of artists, a lot of colorists, a lot of people who create these kind of things are now out of a job and they're not getting that money. So I do think in the long run, as much as I like using it because it just speeds up time and it also gets around like maybe the copyright issues that may pop up, and that's what I do like about it, because it does suck, like, well, you can't use my photo, you gotta take it down, whatever. Well, this gives a way for like guys who are creatives or are influencers, or people are YouTubers, or anybody out there. Now you have the freedom to create an icon without having to go through the process of asking people or just trying to find something online or not get exactly what you want. And now you have the ability to get what you want. So I definitely use it as a tool to speed up things. So for me, it's because I use it and because I use multiple of AI generated arts, I definitely understand the usefulness of it, and I definitely do enjoy it. And I definitely like that I could just create and say what I want to say in a picture quickly. But I also think in the long run, it could be harmful if the AI program ever gets way too good to the point where it starts taking artists out of jobs, which is a scary thing. But that's how I feel.
Is that too late?
What?
Isn't it too late then?
I don't think it's too late, but I think it's going to because it's not where it needs to be yet. Again,
it's not where it needs to be yet per se, but you got to think you feed in the machine. That's kind of where she be talking about, I assume. Mm-hmm. And you feed in the machine is building it up, giving it money. It might not just be giving it money; it's also giving it resources. It's giving it a reason to even exist.
Exactly. Now, my job say this: I don't pay for it. I only do use it free, so I don't give it no money.
Well, but you're giving it research. There's more things. There's more valuable things than money.
No, yeah. I agree.
So with that, there's not just you. There's a lot of different people using it for a lot of different reasons. But the top reason that everybody can be fearful of is the dominator of it, which is going to have the money, have the resources, have the data, have it all access pass, baby. Why? Mm-hmm. Why you think? So with that, it's one of those things of, yeah, it was nice and cool. It helped me out a little bit this way, but did it really help you, or did it more so help?
Once it gets to where they want it to be, that paywall's gonna come up.
Yeah. Well,
that's how that works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of already there because you're going to do so many a month.
Yeah, but it's not. It's gonna be fully there once it becomes a thing. It's gonna be fully there. Look at TikTok. The TikTok is a perfect example. TikTok screwed us over with the algorithm, with the paying for views, and they make us pay for views by you doing this thing called promoting your thing, where they put the little red thing, and your video is at the top of your page. That's whatever video you promoted, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing about that is that requires money. So when they started that, disclaimer, I have like what 5,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh, congratulations.
When they did that, my page views, like so far as my videos, I'll post up a video and in 2-3 days I got 2-3 views. I'm like, what's going on? Even if I don't get any likes, getting 2 or 3 views in 3 days, it's ridiculous. That's unheard of. So you mean to tell me nobody just scrolled past it one time? You know, it's kind of like what the heck. And then the algorithm screws it up because you put a hashtag art, they only sending it to artists, meaning that's your interest is art. In reality, you're putting art as okay. This is people look up art. People who like art. This is what it is. But what they're doing is advertising to other artists. So that hurts. That hurts you with whatever you do. If you're a freaking photographer or whatever, you put photography, and it's like you're only advertising to other photographers. What sense does that make?
Mm-hmm.
So the algorithm busted. It's just, I'm just saying this AI world that we're getting in is I see where it's going and I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to James because I mean, you just said it too because he does bring these two movies up all the time. He's totally right. The two movies you need to watch about when he's talking about the future,
Wally.
Wally and Idiocracy.
Hmm.
Those are the two movies I would sit there and say that I will give James total credit for because yeah, those two movies absolutely show you the future, the world that we're afraid that I feel like we're getting to.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
For sure, for sure. I just like I say, I just don't like it. I see the Amazon. People think it's cool. Oh my God. You can go into this Amazon store, you can just pick up stuff and walk out. Oh my God, they have a machine that can make a gourmet burger. Not just not no McDonald's burger. No, a gourmet $10, $6 restaurant, 15, $12 burger. This freaking machine can make a fresh freaking burger and only requires 1 to 2 employees to run. Now
Yeah.
imagine all these restaurants decide to get this thing or maybe one big corporation decides to create a chain with this thing. How much business is going to go out of business? They get the speed and more efficient. They get more speed, more efficient because it's a machine,
Yeah.
and they get less employees. Then you have that thing that Walmart did, where you have a grip of freaking buyers and not enough sellers, and we're just destroying ourselves.
What you're basically talking about is a monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We're losing and changing what value means.
Yep.
And with that change, you have to keep considering, well, who's getting paid and who's not getting paid. However they getting paid, I ain't talking just in dollar bills. They keep changing currency too. So think about that.
Man,
Real
that's a
Mm-hmm.
time
topic
currency
too.
has changed a lot. But at the same time, we're getting to a place of how are you going to make a living now? Because everything is automated. What do you do? Do we
Thank
get
you.
automatic checks now? We're messing up our economy in a certain sense. And now, how are
Yes.
you going to compensate with that change? The people
Thank
that are
you.
on top get to make the rules and they don't give a dang. Why? Because they're not down in the field having to do the certain things.
Slavery never went away. During slavery, you start slavery, you had to work for room and board and food. Now you get a job that at the end of the day you can only afford room and board, food. The same thing, same thing. Nothing. They just made it look pretty.
And ownership is becoming a very high luxury.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about how certain things are getting eliminated because they're changing the currency, because they're automating things. But what is starting to phase out? The only people that feel those effects are the people that are just starting out, or what you could call the lower tier of the economy system.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, I guess we can make it broader now. um, yeah, like well, I brought this up actually in an earlier podcast, and Shibidi just brought it up now when he talked about Home Depot and going to Home Depot. I'm like, there's not really any register, like only like 2 register, like I think now 4 register accepts cash. Everything else wants card. But going digital, going to digital currency. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? You know, I know I shouldn't say this, but the one major benefit of like using cash, especially when you start off in business, is that most people who start off business, I do know people.
They can't always be legitimate. I know where you're going with it.
Yes. When you start off,
And
go ahead.
and sometimes you.
But
Oh, go ahead. My bad. Sorry.
something crazy to think and consider with the history of our age groups and what we know about history and blah 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 is the fact the people that control it get to change it, and they purposefully changed it when they was not following the rules in the first place. Are
Mm-hmm.
you getting this?
Yes,
Hmm.
110%. Think about it. How are you just able to print money out of thin air? I mean, if
Well,
you guys,
that part don't matter to me. I'm because we talking about art, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
These museums hold art that was not given to them.
Right.
yeah, facts.
So if it wasn't given to them, how did they get it?
Hmm.
Hmm.
But then they changed the rules and made this fancy establishment, and now they get to keep it too. Think
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Right. What if that person's family members say, you know what, we don't want Picasso's work in your museum.
No. I mean, the funny thing is, literally the clip, not this clip that just came out, but the clip that just came out before the clip that's currently out, and y'all on the audio podcast, you're kind of way far behind. We were just talking about how the Native Americans still have their legacy and still have their people stuff in museums and they can't get it out. So it's kind of funny how we're literally just talking about that when I literally just posted literally a clip on that subject within itself. But I think the bigger issue is that, and I think that's kind of my biggest worry. It's just the removing of ownership, and that's why I think that's kind of scary for me. That, like Norris just said, pretty soon here, starting a new business is not going to be just anybody can do. It's going to be a luxury, and you're going to have to go through hoops and everything. The one
Oh
thing,
yeah.
the one thing like about crypto that you got to understand, that people don't realize, that no matter where crypto goes, you could track you could track them wherever it goes. It has a history. You can know where all the money goes. So let's say the government has that information. When you sign off a business, basically a lot of businesses, at least people who I know, they would have been gone by now. They wouldn't have had any businesses. Their businesses would never start off if they didn't do what they had to do and basically get paid in alternative ways. As much as I'll sit there and say I love crypto, one of the most dangerous things is that now that they now they can track you, now there's going to be a barrier to entry.
Right. You can track everything. Now with cat, that's why they really don't want us with the cash anymore, because with cash, you have freedom. You have freedom. You can use a credit card, use your debit card. Guess what? Every freaking thing on everything you buy is on there. And at any given time, if they want to audit you or whatever the case may be, or check on what you're buying, they'll see it. Oh, this guy. Oh, he went to the porn store the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's no nothing's private anymore. And then
No.
also you got we're selling our information by being on social media. And even if you say, oh, I'm not going to be on social media, okay, you get your TV, you're going to have some form of information on there. Like they're going to find a way to get your data in some form, whether it be on video game, social media, your TV, unless you completely go off the grid. And crazy as the government is, I'm pretty sure they got a way to track you on doing that time too.
Well, I mean, again, you're on TikTok. Well, check this out. TikTok should
I
be
got a dip. Hold on. Time out. Sorry. Interruption.
okay.
I got a dip. I got to pick up my other children and stuff. So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, no worries, man. Thanks for stopping by, man. We appreciate it. Hopefully you can stay on longer, and hopefully you come on a little later.
Okay.
All right, man.
Later.
All right, go on.
Y'all be good.
Yep.
Can
All right. Hello?
proceed.
Okay, cool. So, yes. So, here's what it says. TikTok should be banned, says U.S. FCC commissioner.
Oh yeah, they was doing that a long time ago.
Oh, I know. Well, yeah, they did what Trump was in.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they...
Now they're bringing it back up.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, what they have to say now?
So TikTok could be facing a ban in the United States again after a commissioner at the federal, basically at the FCC, raised concerns over national security. The app's growing in popularity in the U.S. is concerning because ByteDance, a Chinese company, owns this. That means there are potential data on U.S. citizens to flow back to China.
And it's because they're not getting the data.
Well, no, it's not.
I get what they're saying though, but it's like they've been doing it to us for years, so now they know what how important that data is, and so
Exactly.
now they're scared because they've been doing it to us for years. Now somebody else has access to it, and now they're like, oh my god, we have to rethink this.
Uh, this a little bit. I mean, for the most part, I agree. I'm not really going to
I'm
argue
just
that point.
saying they know the potential that the freaking they know how valuable people's data is, and because it's already being pushed out there between companies.
Well, yeah,
You know,
I mean, data is one of the most important things that you can have. I mean, it's like what they say. Have you ever, like we're on the phone, whatever, we're talking to people, then all of a sudden you go online and what you were talking about just pops up online?
I felt like that before
Yeah, and you're not the only
years
one.
ago.
Yeah, but you're not the only one. A lot of people feel that way. I mean, it even happened to me a couple of times
Mhm.
where I was just, talking to my mom or a friend about, certain items, whatever, and I would go back on my computer, and all of a sudden I look at an ad, and what I specifically was talking about is literally in an ad on the side of a website that I'm on. I'm like, what the heck?
Mhm.
I mean, no, I mean, I believe like that data, yeah, is far important, but it's very dangerous. Why do you think so many companies were kind of mad at some of the changes to the I want to say, and this come off the top of my head, so I might have it a little messed up. But when Google changed the terms for the ads and how they have the ads, so you can't really collect ad data, and I don't know if that was a Google thing or a government thing. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Mhm.
But it's because like when you go on websites now. Well, I know for a fact it happened in California where they wrote a law where you can now tell websites do not take my information.
Yeah,
Which I agree with that.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have it. They don't always have it.
Yeah. Well, I would say a lot of times do. They don't. But I do 110% agree with that. Absolutely. Because
It's
that
tough,
ad
man.
data is important.
The reason I be so passionate about this stuff is because stuff is hard as enough, and people put too much emphasis on. It's just I forget that dude's name. Oh God, I wish I could remember his name. It was just like, why does basically his argument was why does it have to be hard? Like, why do you know people tend to want things to be hard for the next person, and sometimes for them, like if somebody else went through something the hard way and it's an easier way to do it, they rather them do it the harder way so they could, you know, I guess, get their little lessons or whatever. But it's just like why do you want to make stuff so much harder for people? You know, it's I don't know.
I
Um,
mean, it kind of it depends because there's a lot of nuance to that comic. So that comic's not really a black and white. But
right,
I kind of get what you're saying. Whereas if people found an easier way to do it, why are you complaining about somebody finding out? Like, I understand that. Yeah, it took you maybe 2 years to figure out, and he figured out in a month, and it's not fair. But I mean, that's called evolution.
right. I can't stand it, bro.
Okay, so as for this next topic, and I know we just went through it, but it's probably gonna get a lot more heavier. But the one thing I'm not sure if you heard, but one of the Migos member Takeoff actually passed away. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not listen to the music like that. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily the biggest fan. And first, before we even start this topic, I personally wanted to say R.I.P. But I'm also going to put on record that yeah, I didn't really listen to him like that. But what I did want to get into, basically from my opinion and just the information that I read and that was came out, and I'm not sure if we got everything. And I'm not sure there's been more stuff added. So I'm going to speak on because I've also, I'm sure y'all don't know, but we've also been away for a while from the podcast. So I only got so much information on it, and I can only go by from the research that I've done before. But at the end of the day, from what it says and from what I read, it just was a really tragic situation. Because basically, from the reports I read, it's basically was just over a dice game, and I guess one of them got mad, and basically Takeoff tried to walk away, or he wasn't even involved, and then things just kind of went crazy. Now, mind you, I heard, and I don't want to kind of put rumors out there because it is kind of ugh, it's kind of it's a pretty messed up situation. But there does seem, listening to certain sources that came out, that there may have been more to do with it. There may not been, but at the end of the day, it's just. I mean, I'm just gonna go on to the first report where like it's just kind of dumb that just over a dice game, a dude who's that big wound up having to lose his life, and to me, that's just some dumb stuff that honestly could have been totally avoided. I don't think it had to go that far, and it did. And now we lost a life of a really big artist. And to me, it's just the entire situation just sounds messed up, and it's over just some BS that didn't even have to go that far. It didn't have to be that way. None of that stuff had to happen. People could. I mean, there's other ways to handle things, and I'm not here to put the blame on anybody. I mean, I'm not going to do that. But why I will say that it just was stupid how this happened, and this entire thing could have been totally avoided, and all this stuff from at least from what I read. So I'll just put like this: like I'm not necessarily happy about the situation. I mean, I'm not happy about anybody's passing. I'm just put that clear, just to be clear. But this was just to me was just dumb.
that ability to walk away, you know,
Go ahead.
and somebody sounds like a dice game. I've been in street dice games before. I'm not perfect. I ain't no perfect saint.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can go south. Sometimes you get people mad because they lost their money, trying to punk you, force you to play them again so they could try to win their money back. You know, it's a lot involved in that for sure.
And I just want to say this real quick because this is the most messed up part about that is that you got to understand that I had to freaking wake up to that crap. Well, I got to see when I first looked into it? The man's body. And I only say that to say whoever was posting that shit, y'all are some fucking jackasses. Like I have no respect to y'all assholes. Like that's a shitty thing to do. Because the fact that the fact that I woke up to that shit and the first thing I see is this man's body. Like, y'all some scumbags for putting that shit out, man. Like, that's just some fucking nasty behavior, dude. Like, y'all need that much clout that y'all need to post that shit online for everybody to see. Like, that was nasty, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that is the one thing that was just fucking disgusting to me. That I literally just hearing about it, the first thing I see is this man's lifeless body. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna justify that shit. You know, and like I said, if that happened to me, think about that was his fucking family. Like, y'all some sick fucks for that, man. I have no respect for that shit.
Yeah, I wasn't super big on his music either. Like that. I mean, I do like a few. I mean, maybe one or two of their cuts. Um, but I don't listen to a whole lot of modern music.
Yeah.
That's a whole subject in itself of why. I try to. There's some stuff I like, but I'm not invested in artists the way I was growing up.
Well, I mean, I understand because I don't want to go too much off the subject.
Hmm
I understand, like, yeah, I'm not big, but just the situation and how it happened, like that shit was. And you know what? I found a very interesting stats, but I mean, again, man,
What do you
it's
find?
I gotta bring it up. You gotta give me one sec.
Um, no, I said what I had to say was, I don't really, I know of him, but I haven't been, I have not been, watching his, I haven't been invested in his music. I do, I like some of it. I, actually, there's not really much I could say. I can't even remember. I have to look it up. Where I have to look up the Migos, look up the songs that I like.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's always horrible when our people go like that, and that's what I mean by our culture being kind of screwy. Even going back to Nipsey,
Yeah.
you know, and that was so. Yeah, maybe this dude started off on the wrong foot with things he had to do to survive, but once this guy got his paper up, he was slowly but surely doing his best to build a stronger community. And even and he kind of took a tip from Magic Johnson, um, by you actually saw this dude. And now I don't know all of Magic Johnson stuff. I don't want to get into him, but I just remember growing up and going to the Magic Johnson Theater, and you just might see this dude. That tripped me out, you know? And that's kind of how it was with Nipsey, where it's like, but it was more often than Magic for sure. You'll see this dude, so many people. That's why he was loved the way he was loved, because people knew him, people saw him, helped put the city on the map and stuff like that. But like this guy, I know he's big in that group, and at
Oh,
one
no, I
point
mean, he's probably one of the biggest rap groups of all time.
they no, they said that.
No. For this generation, they are. For this
Yes,
generation, not for
okay,
us, not for us, but just in general,
yeah,
like the popularity. No, they were one of the biggest rap groups. Absolutely. I mean, I said on an earlier podcast that like, yeah. I mean, not maybe not for us, but for this new generation, nah, they're like one of the biggest hip hop groups of all time.
Yeah, for this generation, yeah, you could say that. But that's the thing about it. When you use that word all time, is the problem because they said that themselves. And Busy was like, let them feel that way. If they want to feel that way, that's how they supposed to feel.
It's like that for any generation. Every generations have their big guy. You know, we may not feel that way because I mean, sad to say, but we're becoming the old guys at this point. But in their generation, you look at the guys who looked up at them and like their music to the younger generation. That's kind of who they are. I mean, they did a lot of big things. They had a lot of big albums. Now, I may not feel that way. Their music is not my kind of music that I'm into.
They
But
have some okay cuts. It's just like I say, I have to look them up. It's been a while.
yeah. Oh shit! Hold on, we got another arrival. What up, B?
Love you guys.
Oh man, good. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, we got another arrival.
Good. Oh,
Coming to the stage, B Man.
I forgot. I forgot. Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you, B. You came in at a heavy time, so
It was okay.
all right. But I'm gonna bring it up right now. So this is a crazy stat I'm trying to tell you, man. In 2020, about 200 rappers died, and they said in 20, I mean, all together as a whole, not just through violence, but just overall, 200 rappers died. 200 rappers died across the world. And in 2021, that number went up to 250 rappers died.
That goes back to what I was saying about our culture, man. That's what that goes back to. Because they keep that mentality, they keep that same energy when they get where they need to be, and it's like it's partially not their fault. Because then, if you read Terry Crews' book, he talks about how getting in the NFL and trying to make something of himself to get away from the block, or how he had to hide his looks or hide the fact that he had a white friend or change his language to appeal more to the hoods that was in the neighborhood to keep himself safe because once you intellectual or you talk in a certain way or in some people might feel like whatever maybe acting white or whatever the case may be, once they feel that way about you, you become a target. So he worked hard to try to get away from that, trying to make so he made it to the NFL. And then when he made it to the NFL, he realized it was the same shit. Well, same stuff. It was the same. It was the same stuff when he got to the NFL. The same ninja stuff was going on while he was in the NFL, and he didn't like it. It wasn't him. But I say that because that's what happens with these rappers. They get famous and they still got
Keep going.
that same mentality of they still got that same mentality on the block, or that same mentality that the prison system has brung to the block, because that's what happens. These guys get out of jail and they bring that same energy to the street, and and like I said, in our culture, you learn it's like you're gonna be a lion or you're gonna be prey, and you have to make the decision quick,
Yeah.
you know. And that's what happens. They go around, they hang around, people that They shouldn't with the tax bracket that they in. They shouldn't even be affiliated with some of the people that they affiliate themselves with. You in a whole new tax bracket, what's his name said it best. What's his name? Steve Harvey said that meant best when Monique was trying to boycott Netflix. You know what I'm saying? You can't be getting like that. We in a whole different we in a money game. We not even, you know what I'm saying? You can't be getting ninjas at he's like, I got people depending on me. I can't come back you and put me in a position to where these people can't depend on me. He said that on the show, because she was mad that nobody stood with her and stuff like that with Netflix and all that stuff like that. You had comedians doing jokes and everything else of that nature. But like I say, we pull that same, we take that same mentality of the hood, of oppression, of whatever happened in the past, and we hold on to that, grasp that, make it to where we need to be at, and still, yeah, I may be rich, but I'm still this and I'm still that. Well, why? Why do you still want to be like that? Aren't you running from that? You still want to have that same mentality. You still want to deal with those same kind of people. You still want to walk outside your house having to keep your head on the swivel. That's comfortable to you.
I mean, I would say sometimes just all you know. What's how they say you can take the boy out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the boy.
Oh, I believe it, but at some point you have children. At some point, your life gets to a certain point, to a certain level, to where you got to take responsibility. You got to come into yourself and be like, this is freaking stupid. Why am I gonna sit here and jeopardize my career, my life, to be around these kind of people? And history keep on repeating itself. They keep hanging around these dudes, trying to keep this gangster look and gangster mentality. You got little white boys, excuse my language, but you got them walking around faking it, trying to be like that because it's become the cool. It's become the way to be. That's how you need to be, and it's not cool. It's stupid.
Well, we
I
were talking
think
about hip hop. We were talking about hip hop, and
Well, just so you know, because I know you came out, we
mm,
this actually started off because we were talking about Takeoff's passing.
mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where it started. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go yeah. We could get your input. You probably know more about the Migos than I do.
Videos like I said, R&B do, you know, they have some cool songs, I guess, and condolences out to his friends and family. But all I just want to say.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Can I
Uh,
interrupt for a second?
oh yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to B's voice getting deeper. Who the hell is this dude? All right, go ahead. All right, I just had to make some light of the situation. All right, go ahead.
Oh,
Coming
no,
sound like Barry White. Go on.
You gotta understand, nowadays, what we call hip hop is not really our culture. It's the record label's culture. That's what they want.
Which is owned by a white.
Yeah, that's their culture. That when hip hop first started, we wasn't doing all that bullshit like how we're doing it today. That's the record labels what they want us to do. Now, it's our fault for actually signing the contract and participating in that shit because, we so thirsty to get money quickly. That's a flaw of our people. But all this game, I gotta floss and do all this other. That's them. That's what
you
they
can't
want.
you can't blame us with all the oppression that we've been under. That's the
Huh?
sad part. It's hard to blame us without everything that our culture's been under. You get an opportunity to get your mama a house, an opportunity to get you and everybody in your family out of the bad situation. You damn near sign your soul to the devil for those opportunities.
But yeah, I mean, what's the point of doing all that if you're playing the devil's game anyway, which putting your own family at risk?
Very true.
So yeah, you took them out of the hood, but because of your actions, you practically put them in the same scenario that you got them out of in the first place.
Yes, yes, yes. Preacher.
What?
I said preach, preacher. That's what that means at the end of it.
That's the whole. We have to stop being so influenced to get this quick cash because all they have to do is throw $1 million at you. Now you gotta dress how they want you to dress, rap how they want you to rap because they write all the lyrics. Act how they want you to act in the public, and who's gonna take the blame for everything? That black person, because he's the image. We as the general public don't see what's going on behind the scenes. But they know who that artist is. They know who that rapper is. And they're the ones always going to be the target, take all the blame, while these people who wrote all the lyrics, gave them the music, right? Told them you got to act this certain way and that certain way. They get to go away.
We forget our culture too. My bad.
No, there you go. Yeah, you get it.
No, I'm just saying we forget our culture too, though. Our culture has a lot to do with that too. Have you heard about checking in?
Yeah.
How stupid is that? You're gonna,
know.
you okay because this is another brother, and he's making a video in the neighborhood, and he's successful. You feel the need to try to charge him to make a video on a block that you don't own no property on.
Right.
So you want to extort another brother. That's what you want to do. When we already get, for excuse me our language, I don't know, we already getting bleeped all up in there by everybody else.
Right.
And you just want to keep the chain going.
Right. Well, the thing is, we keep participating in things that practically don't exist. Like you said, this guy that you have to check it with, he doesn't own anything. He probably was just a homie, and that's it. You, who's a seven, you don't have to do a motherfucking thing.
Right. But I'm saying what I'm saying is that's what happens. That's how that turns into them robbing different artists or shooting them because they're making a video in their neighborhood. And it's like, that's stupid. Now Now no artist is coming to your neighborhood, and none of your kids and family get the opportunity to see any a famous their famous artist come to their neighborhood because you want to be stupid and ruin everybody's lives around you. And I say to people like that,
Valid.
I hope they late for every appointment. I hope when they go to the dentist, they work on the wrong tooth. I hope they go into the hospital for a simple surgery and they cut their dick off by accident. And be like, oh, I thought, like, I don't appreciate those kind of people.
Right.
I just don't, like, it's just so freaking sad.
Right. And it's just like when I was working for Takeoff, I'm not gonna say where I was working, but so during that time period, we had there was a brother who was the lead. He was well spoken. Um, he can everyone they like to call him like the Carlton type or something,
Right.
and well spoken, well mannered, so forth and so forth. But there was another guy who was working with us. He lived an alternative lifestyle, and he's sassy, loud talk, had no filters with his talking, and they gave our league a hard time to a point where they got rid of him as the lead for this temporary for this contracted job I was working. And it's like I was like, damn, he was a bad dude, but because he had a structure and had a plan for us to and wanted to lead us a certain way, he didn't want to listen. I was like, damn, you did all that for what? Now the brother has no job. But wasn't that serious?
It's hard. People be like, why don't you speak up? Why don't you say something? My girl, she say that all the time. Oh, you need to say something. I'm like, I think of consequences. I'm sorry. I think of consequences on everything. And sometimes I might overthink stuff, but I'm sorry. With every move I make, I think of consequences. And I'm like, okay, if I say something, is it really gonna help? And if it is gonna help, if it's gonna help, how is it worth it? Blah 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 blah. If not, I'm not saying nothing.
Well, the thing,
is it worth losing my job? And do I have another job to go to?
right. Well, the thing, like with me, I was keeping peace amongst both parties. For some reason, I end up in that type of role. Don't ask me how, I just did. But like I said, this is only for several weeks, and that was it. There's not enough time during that time period to gel and mend personalities. It's either you have to start getting along, started, and everyone has to get along, or there's going to be problems. And sadly, that it was a problem. And I think out of that situation, if someone would have just, if the lead would have or they just both would have just talked it out, I think they would have been fine.
Right.
But no one talked it out, and it went to the people in the office, the top people. Now they got to get involved in the situation, and that's where it got ugly.
Right.
So, I was like, damn, how come two brothers, though different lifestyle, how come we can just never talk things over? Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. When I was out in Burbank last week, but was the last? I think it was last week. Yeah. Where when I was looking for things to do, and there's really no activities for young adults outside of the bars, lounges, and pubs, and that goes for movies as well.
When you talk about, and again, that's an entirely different issue. But when you talk about how you went out to Bourbon, you couldn't find nothing. A lot of that was strictly because of the pandemic, and it's kind of sad because like what you did was you opened up the doors to people basically being at home and not going out.
It was like that. You know what's crazy, dude?
What?
Not to cut you off, but this whole tripping off of the pandemic for those reasons to me is so crazy and outlandish. Let's get it. People wasn't doing shit before the pandemic. Okay, let's just keep 100. People act like it was just oh my God, I'm stuck in the house. You didn't have no money. You wasn't doing nothing. You wasn't going nowhere. You wasn't going on lavish trip. You was going on lavish trip after COVID because all the ticket prices went down. But you wasn't doing this stuff. You wasn't doing this stuff before the pandemic. It wasn't a whole lot of stuff to do. It was the same old stuff. People were still in the house then. Like, I don't know. It's just funny to me.
Not for me.
Yeah, like I said, I can't fully agree with that. I mean, maybe who you were around, but not the people I was around. Nah, they were out.
Man,
it's debatable. It's definitely debatable.
I mean, I don't think it's debatable. I just
debatable.
Think,
that's for sure.
I will not say it's debatable.
You can't tell me.
Wait, let me say this. I want to say it's debatable because I think it depends on the circle of friends that you're around. Like the circle of friends that I'm around, some of them were indoors all day, and I would say most of them were out. They may not went out like that, but they went out.
Right, but you can't tell me you don't have a handful of people post pandemic that was like, man, we can't do nothing. But they wasn't doing nothing prior.
I would say it's more the opposite, where I knew a bunch of people that were out there and then they were locked down and lost their fucking shit and got all depressed because they couldn't do nothing. So that's what I was saying.
I know people who was doing nothing before pandemic and did nothing now. I know people like that, but now the thing was that okay? So the thing is, were a lot of people at home before the pandemic? It wasn't really doing nothing. I would say they weren't as active like how they made it seem like being on social media. Yep, they weren't that active like that, but they're still more active than before pandemic than what they are right now.
Yeah.
It just wasn't at such a large scale how people make it to seem like, oh yeah, I was going out every week do all this. No, he wasn't.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And it wasn't that much stuff to do.
All right, hold on. Okay.
But
you know what? You know what, B? I could fucking counter that. You know I can't. This is the reason why. It depends on who we're talking about. I am keeping it more vague. Are we talking about the guys or are we talking about the girls? Because if we're talking about dudes, I'm with you. But if we're talking about women, hell no. Them
Only models. If you're talking about models, they have active life. If you're talking about
women
the
always
average
gotta do
girl,
something.
hell no.
But let's keep 100. Let's say as an adult, how many attractions do we really have?
Women.
No, this is okay. Look. The first thing, let's go out to eat. Okay, let's go out to a movie. Maybe they'll want to do that, but okay. Next thing is it's a maybe on a club if you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
what's left? I'll wait.
But again, there's also a difference between if
No,
we talk.
no,
Hold on. You actually made a point on what is the difference? Are they in a relationship or are they single? Because what you said on your end, in my personal opinion, I agree if you're in a relationship. But if you see them when they're single, them females are out. I'll apply this. They basically, you basically see them on the club, partying, and going to raves all the time.
One last time you been to a club.
Okay.
Now B, I will
No. Hold on. One last time you been to a club.
Huh?
When is the last time you been to a club?
But I also apply in the male demographic. It's been a while, but I'm a fucking man. I know a lot of men. That's what I say. If we're talking about men, yeah, like if we want to talk about the men, like my male friends, yeah, they were the ones that were indoors. But when we're talking about women, but like B said, the models, yeah, he's probably more right about that. They were always out. So that's what I'm saying. If you're talking about like even I apply in that standing. Like when's the last time I go to the club? I mean, and I'll be honest with you. I'm not really the club kind of guy. I'm not really I don't really have fun in a club. Like I said, I go to the club for a mission. So again, I'll give B his credit because he's right. He's right when we're talking about models. Yeah, models are really the ones that really go out. But all I'm saying is it's like I said, the women I know, they are always out. But if we're talking about dudes, it's more up in the air.
Yeah, well, because like I said, for us, a lot of times as we're hanging at the. When I talk to the homies, like I said, they're at some bar somewhere, watching sports or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, what I can say is, I don't know a lot of us that's actually out traveling and going
facts.
That I don't know a lot of people.
That crap didn't happen until after the pandemic when everything was cheap as hell. You know. I'm sorry.
It depends. It depends on who you're dealing with. Now, okay, I will say this: if you're
We're talking
about
minority, average
yeah,
people on social media going on cruises, going to Hawaii, all kind of stuff, bro.
Now
they was not doing that, bro. They was not doing that.
Now I would say this: if you talk about people from a more, I can even admit this, when you talk about people from a lower income bracket, that I can agree with. I know a lot of people that basically have no money that was doing all that stuff that never did it before the pandemic. So that I agree. I agree with you with. But that's what I said. It depends on who you're talking about. Because like I said, like when it comes to my circle, it wasn't. It wasn't really like that. It just except for the dudes. The dudes weren't really doing shit. The women were doing all kinds of shit. But of course, like B said, we're also talking about. I'm also thinking about models.
Dudes was at home with that big jar of Vaseline. I'm fucking stupid.
Oh, so. Oh, man.
So again, I will give you this. Depending on who you're talking about, I will agree. But if you're just trying to say in generally, I don't know. I think there's a little bit more nuance there.
Like I know, like for me, for the pandemic, man, I think I don't know how many lakes and all that, I don't know how many I've been to, man. I thought since everything was closed, and I was gonna lose my mind if I had to stay home another day. I was going to lakes, trails, and all that other stuff, and it was cool. It was cool because there was no one there. There was no one there, so you could do all the you can take all the shots. You get to enjoy all the view while someone fucking up your view or something, or being loud and playing their sorry music. Like it was cool.
And that's one thing I will admit. I wish I would have done. I wish I would have done it, because I remember when all the freeways were closed down. Like, man, that's a perfect time to go get photos.
Yeah.
Nobody was out there. I'm like, oh, I want to go out and get some photos.
I remember one day after work, I was driving all through. I was driving to downtown LA. There's no one on the road, man. I was just driving it just because. I'm like, man, I'm never gonna have this opportunity to drive down the city, speeding down the streets and shit.
I would have went by the Disney Cathedral and
Say that again. You broke up.
I would have got me a bike and rode down the hill by the Disney Cathedral. I've done it with traffic. I could imagine clear streets. Woo! I did it with my trike.
Man. So I'll do a lead. Not gonna put down the record.
I mean, you can now. At this point, there's nothing that they can do about it.
I still prefer not down record, but let's just say I was having fun in downtown. And Hollywood was all boarded up and shit. I'm like, damn, like there was literally hardly anyone on the streets, man. That was crazy, man. A lot of homeless people though.
Yeah.
Let me say that was true. Jeez, there was a lot, but the news was saying all the stuff that was happening. So of course, I had to go check it out for myself. I went around the hospital. I see long ass lines and shit. And then I went to the rich neighborhoods, and man, there's not one single them weren't wearing no mask. They're children eating out of dinner and shit. I was like, what the fuck? And that's why I do. COVID is for the poor. COVID is for the poor. They had no worries. Worries, man. I was like,
when this airs, all you're gonna see is beep, 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 beep.
That was crazy, man. That was fun to see too. I was like, these people had they're walking their dogs, family all out, no one wearing a mask. They're eating at restaurants. So I'm just like, wow. I was like, and it was like that for rural. I can't say that word.
Rural.
Huh?
Rural.
No, rural.
A while.
No,
the towns in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, rural.
Huh?
Rural. It's rural America. Rural.
Yeah. Yes, and they were like that too. So all the towns didn't.
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck because they were away from everything.
They didn't give exactly. They didn't give a crap about none of that stuff, man. Literally, they give a damn.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah, no,
so
yeah, because you live off the grid. The only people in the
Yeah.
city that issue. What?
Don't start no stuff. I'm sorry.
hello.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
yeah, like if you live in like the middle of nowhere, like you were straight. Like, yeah, they were good because again, they had to deal with the cities or nothing. So they didn't give two shits.
all right.
Those people had their lands, had their guns, and were totally fine. The what got all screwed up were basically the major cities because everybody was freaking all together.
Exactly.
That's the issue.
And like I said, for the people out there, if you in a major city and you can't find food, leave that city, go to a small town in the middle of nowhere, and get your food there. You have better odds of getting food over there than you do at your own city. So,
Heck yeah.
That's what I was doing.
I mean, that's why people are. That's why that whole entire thing of get out of cities was becoming a big thing. Like y'all need to
You
move
couldn't
out.
find ace.
Hey.
I found the ace in the world.
Hey guys, can I change subject real quick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah.
Just had a question as creators. So we got a web guy here, we got a video guy here, and
And we got a
design,
lame ass dude here. So please keep going.
whatever. Anyway, so as a creator, um, how do you feel? How does it feel when you give somebody a good deal for what you do, and when you give them that good deal, you give them a price, but it's like, it's a fair price to you and to them, but
Uh-huh.
they still have a problem with it and they still feel like it's too much. How does that make you feel as a creator?
I'll
You
let
deal with well. First off, it sucks.
Well, yeah,
Especially especially if like say the person or you're really trying to help this person and
yeah,
they still can't they still think it's too much
right.
to help and but and that's where you as someone who has that deals with a lot of clients, it sucks that because I've been through it before. A lot of clients I was meeting had that same mindset. You always make good deals, and they still can't do it. They still want to lower it down to a point where
You be doing it for free.
you're practically, and no, and I've learned you just gotta let those people go, man. You know
Mhm.
your price. If they
Well, I
can't,
say that the reason I
uh
say that is because G earlier was talking about this AI thing. And it's like, when can we take a real stand as creators to get paid for our work? Because the problem is, a lot of times, is the way the average people look at stuff, even digital art. Sometimes digital art takes me the same time or longer than if I was to to do something physical, like so
correct,
forth, maybe painting or ink drawing or whatever. It might take just as
correct,
long or longer, but
correct,
they don't see it as art because it's digital, and they think that we just push a button and it magically happens. And now they have a system where somebody pushes a button and it magically happens. So it's like, where are we? What's going to happen? What's going to happen to, like, because this is all we have left. Everything is getting tarnished. Back in the day,
right,
you was able to work at the local factory or whatever, work on cars, and then they got robots putting together the cars. So a lot of people got laid off. They only needed a few mechanics here and there to be in an assembly line to create these cars. Car wash. What happened with the car wash? They got machines that you could just drive through, wash your whole car, go on about your business.
Right.
And it's like we're losing everything. And the one thing you would think we wouldn't lose is creativity. And now they've attacked everything. Now you want to attack creativity? Like that's crazy to me. Like it's unethical.
Right.
As if we don't have it hard enough. And that's why I brought up the price thing. Because it's hard to get people as a creator. It's hard to get the average people that's not a major corporation to pay your worth. They want to always negotiate. But they don't go to Walmart negotiating. They don't go to Target negotiating. They don't go to GameStop negotiating. But when they come to you, they're supposed to be your so-called friend or friend of a friend, or you know what I'm saying. But you give them a little discount, but then it's still not enough. It's I don't know. It's just crazy to me. And now this AI thing is going to devalue it even more.
Right.
It just sucks. I even thought about, as a professional designer, as somebody who's done it for years, I even thought about, well, maybe I should get on Fiverr. And it's just like, I feel low. I feel like a $2 hoe. Like, oh, I'm gonna do some graphics for you for $5. It ain't even worth my time. I don't do nothing under 50, and 50's not enough.
Right.
Like 50 might get you some wipes and a thing of diapers.
Right. I mean, that was the reason why I'm switching up what I'm doing right now as a web developer. I realized that it says all these new freelancers who willing to make a full website for $50 to $100, and it's just like at this point it's like, well, damn.
That's why I stopped. You know what? That's why years ago, soon as Wix came out and Flash went out, I was done with web. I was done because I'm like, the game is over. It's either learn how to use Wix and charge somebody for that, because they're not gonna want to pay you to code their whole website.
No.
They're not gonna pay that. They're not gonna pay that. So then you have to utilize those online tools, and it just changed the game. I don't even know why when you look up graphic design jobs, they're still hollering they want you to do web too. Like, what kind of web is my question? Because unless you're a major security company, I don't see the purpose of me doing any coding when you have stuff like WordPress and Wix and what's the other one?
Squarespace, WordPress, Wix. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so what exactly are you? They need to be more specific. Like, oh, we need a graphic designer that's efficient in WordPress. Okay, break it down, because I, as a designer, I see that, I'm like, I'm not even gonna apply. I'm not.
Well, they want you to do every freaking thing now.
Man.
Everything. I'm just like, I see some job descriptions where now I have to make the UX and UI design I had I had to do the front end, back end side of coding. I had to do all these different type of documents and paperwork, and I'm like, what the fuck is all this shit?
I feel, you know what's crazy? As a graphic designer, I felt that too when I saw a job that said, "Oh, can you use a Fiery?" And then it was like, "Well, we need you to, I guess, take in orders, talk to the client, do the charging, print, and do graphics." So basically, you want me to do my own business, right?
Right. Literally,
But,
like I seen one. Not only that, man, but
for $10 an hour.
They also wanted me to do the product designs and do video editing. I'm just like, what? I'm like, no, I'm good.
It's
I'm
like
good, man.
all because they don't want to pay people, and
Right.
it's because companies don't like downtime. And Adam Ruins Everything said it best. It's like most jobs you only work X amount of hours, and the rest of a lot of the other times is downtime or just busy work or just trying to find some way to just keep you busy because it doesn't require 8 hours. So he
Right.
was like, why don't they pay us more and we work less hours? Makes more sense since it's since it's a big
Right.
deal so far as, so a lot of companies don't like when you have downtime, but especially as a designer, as a creator, you're gonna have downtime.
Exactly.
It's not gonna go away, for me, it's hard for me. I've come to the conclusion that I'm not sure unless I'm getting a decent pay for like a major company that's that I have potential in. It's really difficult for me to work for anybody else doing graphic design.
Well, that's why, as an artist, to my fans, I am a painter. I realize I don't want to paint for clients, because one of these is just gonna take the fun out of me for actually doing it. Painting is a passion. It's like the soul to me. It's something that I just don't want to do just because someone asked me to do it,
Right.
or just paying me to do it. Is a goal. That's why one day, I do plan on having like my own art gallery and stuff like that, because that's all on me.
Right.
No one forced me to open up this gallery. No one told me what I need to paint or what not to paint. I'm just gonna open it, and if people like it, cool. If not, shit, I like it. I'm happy that I opened it up. I did it, and as an artist, like I said, I mean, even it's hard. Now, even with all this, let's say you post every day, you're doing YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, all these social medias. It's like damn, I'm doing all this. Why do artists have to do all this stuff?
Right.
just to
You gotta be a
live and
content
survive,
creator.
Yeah, content creator, and now you gotta make videos. Now you gotta go out there and sell, do convention shows.
You gotta be a $2 hoe. I told you.
And I'm like, damn, all this just to get my name out there, and you just hoping that you get recognized.
Right.
Because there's so much artists out there, so it's just like,
it's a tough one, but I know for me, I thought about I used to get discouraged with art, like for real, because I'm like, I'm not, I am not that. I guess I have imposter syndrome, but I'm not that great. Like my anatomy sucks. I have
Doesn't matter in art.
I have to use reference for everything
uh,
a lot of the time.
uh,
Sometimes I've been trying to force myself to make stuff more dynamic, instead of two-dimensional all the time.
right.
It's a lot of different things. And then you see a guy who does a realistic portrait not looking with his hands upside down. And you're like, screw me. Like, it's like this dude did a perfect portrait, and then the problem is because of social media and stuff like that, people look at that and think what you doing ain't shit.
Right.
You know, but the thing about it is I had to look at it in a different light because just like when photography came out, right?
Right.
When photography came out, the art scene, they thought it was over, you know. I mean,
That what?
that's they thought
Oh
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
over. Like that's how they make their money.
Uh,
Oh my damn, the cotton that came off of my mic. Okay, but hopefully it don't sound too funny. They thought they there it goes. They thought it was over, but what happened was abstract art was created, because now
right.
people could take a photograph and you wasn't going to get that same money for doing a perfect portrait. Oh,
Right.
let me do your portrait, and we do all your family and stuff like that. Now you can just take a picture. So where do you stand from there? Now you got to get more creative. Now
Right.
different styles, different genres, got to come out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So I think, and then when I looked at it that way, I said, well, there's room for me. I look at my favorite artist. He doesn't have the best anatomy, and he's extremely popular, and he has his own style, and it works for him. And it's like, why can't I just do
Well,
that?
the
Huh?
the thing the thing is, no, as for so long, yeah, you have to create what is your style, you
Right.
know. Of course, we have mentors and all this other stuff, people that inspire you to draw or to copy their style, but eventually you have to create your own style
Right.
and and have something where people can identify your work,
Hmm.
and not and not your mentors or your or the people who inspire you, but people
And that's
know you
what
just as you.
right. And that's kind of
Mhm.
what I do now. I try to have I mean, everything's been done before, but
Of course, of
you have
course.
your own way of doing things. And that's how I am now. Like this, I was supposed to do this store. He was like, "Oh, Punch Man," but he said not so much style, just like the actual thing. And it's like I can do that, and it's like people think I can't just draw Dragon Ball Z or something like that. It's not that I used to draw that stuff all the time. It's been a while, but I'm just trying to develop a uniqueness of myself. I want you to look at my stuff and be like, "Oh, that's peace."
Right,
That's where that came from, and it because of style. You automatically know that's where it came from, and that's what I'm trying to develop. And even though I have multiple different styles, like but I want you to recognize all of them. I want you to be able because it's whatever mood I'm in.
right,
I might be in a stimulant. mood. I might be in a realistic mood. I might be in a cartoony mood. I might feel like
Right,
color. A lot of times I see stuff in black and white, and I keep it that way.
right. And I'll even say, you know, start creating your own characters as well.
Right.
I realize in the art world that we're always drawing another character that's already there, that's in a different style, or drawing Dragon Ball Z's with your own style and stuff like that. But that's still Dragon Ball Z, you
Exactly.
know.
And it
Uh,
becomes
you know,
and people will start thinking of those brands instead of
right?
thinking of your art. And that's my
Exactly.
thing. And right, and that's my thing. Like I wanted that's why even with this whole I was gonna start doing these shoes and when I started I slowed down, but I'm gonna pick it back up when I wanna paint my stuff on it. Like I don't wanna of course I could sit up here and I can start putting Louis Vuitton and Gucci on it, but that's not
Right.
gonna be unique to me.
Right. Exactly.
And it's like part of me, don't get me wrong, sometimes I'll be like, man, I should just do that stuff because I know I could just get some Nikes, put Gucci on the Nike sign, and sell them suckers for $200-300.
Right.
But it's like, where's the pleasure in that outside of the money, you know?
Exactly. It does kind of make you just like a copycat. You
Right,
know, just you're just you're just pretty much just giving other companies free advertisement. You
right,
know, I realize a lot of artists we're constantly giving other these companies and art and characters or whatever this free advertisement. You know, because everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I know you're doing Ninja Turtles." They're like, "Oh yeah, the Ninja Turtles." So they're gonna go look at Ninja Turtles, but not look at you. You
right,
know, they might think that your drawing is cool and stuff. You might even get some buys, right? But that character is not yours. You
right,
know, that it's not trademarked to you. You know, you can't claim your own property.
right. I have a few characters
Uh, I
that
mean,
I
look
be
what.
drawing myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I was saying, like, look at Disney for instance. Look how many art pieces that they take down because you drew their character.
Right.
They'll be like, "Oh no,
Well, it's
you
like a
drew
good
you drew
practice.
our character in the way we don't like it.
It's a
We
good
take it
it's
down."
but it's a good practice to learn how to draw the Disney style because if you know how to draw Disney style, you get a job.
Oh yeah, 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 and
Not really anymore.
go for it. You know, um, huh?
Well,
Oh,
elaborate, Mr. G.
well, basically, I mean, I don't know if you know, but they kind of got rid of a lot of animation department. Actually, most of the animators, like especially the old 2D ones, a lot of them have left and went to go to different. Basically, a lot of them left to other companies because I think Disney is trying to more focus on 3D, so the 2D animators are kind of getting up out of there. But even like the top ones that were there have also left. Like the old DreamWorks, like guys, some of the old DreamWorks guys, they went off and made their own company, and with some of the old Disney animators. So yeah, it's not looking. So I mean, I don't know if you heard, but I think a lot of animation companies actually got shut down in the past couple of years. So yeah. Well, I tell you that most, and that's why like right now, like most of the animation, they go overseas or they ship it overseas now.
Right.
Yeah, so